Alright, so I just turned my computer on and there's something I wanted to show here. If I can get it to come up, there we go. So let's see if I can get a focus on this. This is the obviously the BIOS post message from my IDE controller card here that I've got, and you can see there's something slightly wrong with the text here that's showing up for these two DVD drives. The text here is obviously corrupted, and some characters are kind of a bit strange. And I'm not sure that the drives are actually showing up in the operating system either. Right, so just taking this side of the computer here off. So this is my system here. I've got a FX8370, and I've got a Radeon 270X. This one I do all my video rendering on because it's the fastest one I have, and obviously gaming and everything. And this is a pretty old case, but I've stuffed a lot of fans in it. Anyway, because all my drives are all IDE drives, my optical drives are, and because I never wanted to be bothered buying SATA ones when these ones still worked fine, I just bought a little PCI-E IDE card, which is buried down here somewhere. You can see this cable goes off under there under the video card. And that's the one there, and I've had it probably for about, I don't know, maybe 8 years now, so it wouldn't surprise me if the capacitors on that, let's unplug the side case fan and take that off out of the way. So that's the card down there. In fact, I'm actually running two of them now because this motherboard has no IDE ports at all. And I'll just show this. If I boot the actual system up and have a look at the disk manager here, you can see we've got a bunch of drives here, but you can see we've only got two drives here. So we've got this Asus one which is connected to that VIA card, and that's detecting fine and everything else, but I have two other drives and it's only showing one of them, and this should say light on, and it's the name is completely corrupted and it's not even working. So I'll just switch my power supply off, make sure that's gone down before I can take this off. We'll see when that standby light goes away. I'll just start unscrewing this. There we go. So I'm going to pull this card and see if there's anything fishy with it. I mean, we've got a bunch of little capacitors on here, and I kind of wonder, if some of these maybe have gone bad, because it was a pretty cheap one. I think it was the cheapest one I could buy on eBay at the time. I think it was about $15, and it is like about almost 10 years old. So if all those capacitors are dead, it really wouldn't surprise me at all. Alright, so just as a quick test, I've plugged those two drives into the other card, which is obviously working fine. I'm just starting the computer up now. There's no post message for that card because I don't think it has an actual BIOS on it or anything. But if I bring this up here, I can have a look in the disk manager and see if the thing makes sense. And that will prove, obviously, if it's the controller card or the disk drives themselves. So if I just grab this here, let's see, disks. Yeah, and if we have a look at that, so both of those drives are actually coming up correctly. So that's with the same cable, that's the same drives, and that's just with a different card. So it must be the card that's faulty in some way. And I would suspect it's those capacitors because, well, I mean, it's the first thing to suspect, and it's the thing that I can do the most with. I mean, it could be that maybe the BIOS on that card is corrupted somehow, but if it was, that would probably be because of the capacitors. So maybe I'll need to replace the capacitors and reflash the card. I don't know. Okay, so I've got the card on the bench here, and I've just got my ESR tester. I'm just going to test some of these capacitors, and I noticed something a bit strange. So for example here, there's one there. If I just test that, we get about, well, we get 0.3738, 0.4 ohms, which is pretty low. And we try this one, you know, we get 0.5. Again, that's quite low. This one here, don't have a very good connection. I hope you can see that. So 0.6, 0.7. These two over here, 0.4. And this one is 0.7 again. Now, you know, that's quite low. And you'd think, well, you know, capacitors, that should be quite fine. But when you look at these are pretty small in diameter. They're quite small value. There's two of them are 100 microfarad and the other four are 10 microfarad. It's strange because I'd expect these capacitors here to have a higher value than is showing up. These are some no brand thing. I don't know what they are. There's one I just took off. Was that? It's like XJ brand, which is, you know, I've never heard of. It's just some no-name thing. So you wouldn't expect it to be good quality either. Like I said, the card is several years old, so they should have some use on them. And they're very low value and low size, so the ESR should not really be below like 1 ohm. I would expect these to be higher even when they were new. So that's kind of odd. So I took this one here out anyway, as you can see, and then measuring the pads that I've just desoldered it from, we get 0.4. So you can see there's actually other circuitry in parallel with this, which is giving a low indication. And if I test the capacitor by itself, there we go, 4.2. So that's more like what I would expect, and that's actually kind of high for a 10 microfarad part. So I haven't even tested the capacitance yet, or leakage or anything, so this thing might not be very good whatsoever. So yeah, I will pull these because I suspect they are probably not that great. I'll test the capacitance, see if anything is wrong with that. But in general, yeah, just goes to show that in-circuit does not always test out fine. I mean, this tester is designed to test in-circuit, and in a lot of cases it will work quite well, but obviously in this case it does not, because it shows 0.4 in-circuit, and when you take it out it's actually 4, so it's 10 times higher than what the reading says. But that is the case with all electronics. If you want to test anything and guarantee that the reading is accurate, you have to desolder it. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all the rest of these and measure them out of circuit and see what we get, to see if any are significantly bad. Right, so I pulled them all and tested them, and the two 100 microfarad ones, these two here, seem to be still fairly okay. Although one of them tested at 130 microfarads instead of 100, so maybe it was a little bit leaky, electrically leaky. These for 10 microfarads seem to be, one was 4 ohms, two were 3 ohms, and one was 2. So I don't know, they don't seem to be too bad for 10 microfarad. I got some replacements here. These ones are all that'll just get on there. They're all 1.5 or so each, so they're definitely all lower and better than the ones that were in there. And then these 100 microfarads, these ones, if I can get a good connection, they're quite low as well, you know, about 0.5 or so, so that's about the same or better than the previous ones. So yeah, so I'll put all those on and see if that makes any difference. I don't know, I mean, these ones don't seem, like I said, one of these seems to be a little bit leaky. One of these is quite high at 4 ohms, the other three may be okay, but interestingly enough, the one that was 4 ohms is the one right here, which is right next to this voltage regulator, so I suspect
That would probably have the most strain on it because it's doing this. Potentially that could be the issue. If the voltage regulator is unstable because the capacitor is not good enough, then that could affect the operation of the card. That would make sense. So quite possibly that one might be the only bad one, all the rest were actually okay. The one that was here, the 100 microfarad one that was in this position, was measuring 130, which is out of spec. Actually, it should only be up to 120 at plus 20%, so out of spec. It might be electrically leaky, I don't know. Replace it anyway. Yeah, so that's that. So let's just do that, and then we'll test it and see if that fixes the problem. And if not, well, the only other thing could be maybe this regulator's bad. Maybe the BIOS chip has been corrupted some way, or it's it's either failed or it's been corrupted by bad power, or possibly this crystal, maybe the chip, I don't know. Yeah, it seems kind of strange. Seems to be like a symptom of bad power, so that's why the capacitors are the most obvious culprit. But yeah, and a couple of them do seem a bit funny, so we'll replace those and see if that fixes the problem. Okay, and there we go. There's the card with all the new capacitors on it, so that looks all good. I just heated up the pads on the other side and just pushed the new capacitors through. That is one way you can do it on something like this, where there isn't much thermal mass in the board. Sort of easiest way to do it. Just cut the leads short and then poke them through as you heat it up. It is easier to clean out the holes first, I guess, but sometimes if you don't have a desoldering gun or something, you can just do it this way. Anyway, so there we go. So now it's time to test it, I guess, and we'll see if it fixed the problem. Hopefully it did, because it'll be annoying if it didn't. Right, so I've just put the card back in my computer, and I've powered it up, and you can see the drives are in fact detecting correctly now. So it looks like everything is fine. I've also cleaned my monitor. Okay, so my system's just finished booting up, and I can have a look at these drives and see what's going on. So, just go into the disk manager again. As you can see now, aha! Look at that. We've got 3 drives showing up, as they should be. So as you remember previously, only 2 were showing up, and one of them had a completely corrupted name that made no sense. And now we've got 3, or as it should be. So this one, this CyberDrive one here, and this light on, both should be, and both of these are on the card that I just repaired. And this Asus one is on the VIA card, which I showed earlier, which is already just fine. So there's nothing wrong with that one, but these ones were the ones not working before. And you can see the names are all correct, there's no corruption, nothing weird there, and that's all looking good. So it looks like that was indeed the problem. That card was not working properly because the capacitors were bad. And most likely it was that one near that voltage regulator that was measuring 4 ohms ESR, I guess. Which would make sense, if that was causing the voltage regulator to be unstable or high ripple or something. Then the main chip probably wasn't working properly, and we're getting those issues. So it looks like that's all done. So there you go. It just goes to show expansion cards are not immune from bad capacitors, which is, well, I suppose should be obvious. But yeah, if you're having some weird issue with an IDE card or a sound card or any expansion card really, something to look at. And I mean, like this one, it kind of made sense because the card is several years old, it's had lots of use, and yeah, not exactly the most reliable brand. I mean, like I said, I just bought the cheapest one I could on eBay, and kind of surprised it actually lasted this long. There we go. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully that was useful, and I'll see you next time.